Coming up, we are obsessed. Join us as we dissect obsession. Stay tuned.
Is her love real?
Just because you chose this for her doesn't make it less real.
Welcome to the Morgue, where we dissect the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. We are your hosts, Arturo Padilla, along with Mr. Nick Valdez. Before we get started, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, that thumbs up, and that bell. That way you know when all these videos are dropping. Tex, buddy, we got a good one for the people at home today. What is up, man?
Howdy, everybody. Howdy, Arturo. Boy, obsession. Just setting the table real quick. I'm obsessed with this. You're obsessed with this. This is just like just a home run in all sorts of ways. Like, just it's a great movie. We're gonna get into this. We're gonna get full spoilers with Obsession, especially I think you'll want to know as little about the ending as possible going in, so that's also a warning. But just heads up, this movie's great. Don't even worry. Like, that's a spoiler for our own review here. Like, yes, this is a great movie, written and directed by Curry Barker, who's now like the hot kid in town. Like, they're just like, yo, like Blumhouse has been looking for their next major hit. They've been looking for, and horror fans in general, we've been looking for that next big thing, right? Like,
Yes, sir.
we've gotten it with like the Filippo brothers with Talk to Me and Bring Her Back, and we're starting to see like this new wave of YouTube creators, this new generation of younger talent coming through with like these cool original ideas. And it's funny because this month in particular, we're recording this in May 2026, like this month has a lot of these new horror movies, and two of the big releases this month are from this new generation of YouTube creators. Curry Barker did a lot of YouTube shorts, did a lot of short films, and this is his big debut. And boy, he does not miss. This is the wildest thing about the whole thing, right? It's just like, yo, like he knocks it out of the park. I am stunned.
Yeah, dude, he bowled a strike at his first shot at a theatrical feature, man, and it is impressive in all facets of the filmmaking process, man, from the production to the ensemble to the script itself to the practical violence and the practical effects that we get. It is absolutely astonishing because
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this to be a conjuring or an exorcist or something that's going to last forever. But Tex, here we are talking about Curry Barker's obsession. And Curry Barker, if you are not aware of him, he, as Tex was mentioning, a YouTube creator. He does a lot of horror shorts. One of his most famous one is Milk and Cereal. I highly recommend watching that one. Very cool take on horror. He has a very dark comedy edge to it, but he doesn't bring any of that dark comedy to Obsession. It is straight up horror, and he nails it, dude. He nails it so well that I need to see this again as soon as possible, Tex. It was that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those horror movies too. It's not really like full on scary jump horror scary. Like that's the thing too. I think we should clarify. It's like
Correct.
it is a build up. It is a lot of tension over the time. It's a slow-ish burn. We'll get into details about that here in a minute too, but there's a great payoff. It's explosive, and you get everything you kind of want out of this idea, which is that this basically like this, this group of friends has been hanging out during high school. They're all getting ready to go to college. Our main character is Michael Johnston, who plays Bear, who, has a crush on his friend Nikki, played by Indy Navarrete. And he has been crushing on her for years at this point, wants to confess to her, and ultimately doesn't realizes she doesn't feel the same way, makes a wish on this one wish willow, which is like this little gimmick stick, and this is what happens. Like, she just becomes fully obsessed with him. And dude, I even feel like selling the premise is kind of underselling it too, where it's like, no, there's a lot going on with just shout outs to Indy Navarrete. Like, we kind of have to talk about her first and foremost. Like, yes. I think when you're talking about obsession in general, you kind of there's a lot put on her shoulders in terms of Nikki because she really takes like an intensive horrific turn, and a lot of what you're gonna remember from this movie is because of her.
Yes, 100%. You're absolutely right, Tex. Um, there is a lot of weight on her shoulders, but also just a big shout out to the support around her as well.
Yes.
The performances were outstanding, man. None of the performances lacked at all. They were all right where they were supposed to be. They did a great job. The entire ensemble did a great job, but Nikki is definitely the standout character in this piece. And the range that this actress showcases in this movie is absolutely astonishing, man. And it's so awesome because you get her real personality in the beginning of the movie. And then when the wish is made, there's like this switch that's clicked on, and
Yeah.
you automatically see a transformation where you're like, holy crap, like she's
Yeah.
super talented because her her real personality just goes out the window, and this other thing inside of her just comes out and starts just being this wild version of Nikki, this unhinged version of this character. And we get that throughout the movie, and it escalates every
Yes.
single moment we see Nikki on the screen. And that's another big kudos and shout out to Navarette, who, dude, I didn't know who she was entirely. I
Yeah.
knew she did something on CW. She wasn't on the Superman Lois show. I know her from there, but you don't really see the
Yeah.
talent like that in a CW show. She doesn't get
Yeah.
to flex the muscles there. But here, Tex, dude, she was full pumping iron, bro, because it was all her, and she did not disappoint at all, man. What a
Yes.
performance, Tex.
Yeah, this is just it's wild. Like it's one of those performances too where it's like I don't think we can praise it enough, it's tough because buddies at home, if you've checked out any of the Morgue episodes before, if you know how we do things, it's we generally don't we try not to glaze things too much at the end of the day because it's
Yeah.
like nothing's perfect, or nothing's like even a great performance, like it's like, yeah, it's good or they're great, but here it's like it feels next level. And it's not only that, but she feels so fresh, not only because she doesn't really have like a big deep filmography outside of film. I think the last thing I saw her in was in this Netflix movie Trap House with Dave Bautista. Not a great movie, not a great, but she's in it, and she's much better here is what I'll say at the end of the day. And she's also supported, like you said, by other unknown faces, like the main Bear Michael Johnston, who like also needs to like carry his half of the movie. He is absolutely great because he
Yeah.
really sells the incel loser aspect.
Yes.
He really makes sure to like you understand that he's kind of a teenage scumbag in a way, and that's also what makes this movie so compelling too, because it is telling that unique story, right? Because it's like it's incel horror, which is like
That's the new genre. We just invented it here at the Morgue, folks. But you're absolutely right, though, Tex, because a little peek under the sheet. We were talking off the air before we came on here and spoke with you buddies at home, and Tex just mentioned that incel horror, and I'm like, wow, you're absolutely right, because that's what it really boils down to. That is his persona at his core. That's who he is. He's a kid who doesn't know how to express his feelings properly to this girl that he's been crushing on forever. And when he does, it's never the right moment. And his friend is trying to help him out with it and telling him when the proper moment should be. And he doesn't know. He's lost. He's lost in this, world of trying to find love. And then at the same time, we know there's this character Sarah as well, who also works with him at the music store, that she has a crush on him. And then he realizes that when he's driving Nikki home, and Nikki kind of tells him straight up, and that's when
Yeah.
that little conversation changed a little bit there, right? When she goes like, "Hey, you know Sarah has a crush on you, right?"
Yeah,
And
it sets the tone for
yeah,
the
that's when he
movie,
knows
right?
he got friend zoned hardcore
Yeah.
there, you know?
Yeah, and that's where he ultimately decides to make a wish on the wish willow, which is what starts the movie in full. Of like he's kind of mad that she doesn't like him, and he's upset by it, and he does the full, oh, I kind of hate her, but I also really want her to love me more than anybody in the world. And this is where the intense, it's really teenagers going off to college stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's in the moment you're
It's like,
like,
hey, this is your one last shot to let her know how you feel, man. You gotta let
yeah,
her know, man,
it's
before she goes away.
yeah, it's definitely like high school drama vibes in that sense. And and that's what also makes like Bear such a good main character too, because yes, like he does like he does start this, and then he pulls more scumbag moves like as the film continues and it starts ratcheting up, and it becomes more and more obvious that something is in Nikki, and it has possessed her, it has taken control of her, and it has really done all these wild things. Like we're not even getting into the specifics of what she does, because it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's immediately clear. And that's the great
Yes.
thing about this movie too. Like it
Yes.
doesn't really play around with the, oh, is she too in love with him? No, like it's like, for example, she cooks and kills a cat, or and like it cooks and feeds it to him, and it's like, okay. And then there's this great scene where like she's like watching him sleep, and you have this whole moment
Yeah.
of like her kind of screaming and like doing all this stuff, and she's pulling off these like awesome facial contortions and stuff like that, but yet he doesn't really do anything about it yet. That's the whole,
Yeah.
this is what makes the movie work, is the fact that
Yes.
he so wants this to work with her that
Yep.
he's willing to overlook all that stuff and willing to kind of brush it aside as long as he can, until naturally, as horror movies go, that you can't really push it aside anymore. And just before we get into the climax and the more spoilery story details for what happens there, I just also want to shout out Curry Barker. Like, yes, we're talking about how great of a story this is, but story or not, like this is like he's also got the chutzpah to pull it off in
He
terms of
has
just
the
technical
talent.
prowess. Yeah.
Yes, dude. That's I think that to me, yes, of course the story is fantastic, but seriously, and in all honesty, as a big film nerd and film buff, as you guys know we are here, that technical aspect really kind of blew me away. This dude knows his way behind a camera. He knows how to gaff or have his people gaff properly, which is the lighting portion of a movie. For instance, this movie is shot pretty dark, but he does a fantastic job of using the lighting to frame and silhouette every character properly, especially in the moments where she is like hiding in the darkness. If you guys are watching at home on YouTube, there's a picture right now, as you can see, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Like he does that a lot with her, which also is a fantastic idea because it gives her a break too. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yes.
it
Yes.
really gives her like this mental break because she's just has to just stand there and kind of like look creepy. And the lighting helps so much because it adds to that creep factor, especially in that scene that Tex was describing where she's watching him sleep. She's in the corner behind a dresser and he wakes up and he sees this silhouette, man, and it's just staring back at him. And Barker does this thing with her eyes, which it gives her like a little glint in the eyes, looking like
Mhm.
a sinner's vampire. And
Yes, that's exactly it.
dude,
Yeah.
it was so impressive. Like every shot, man. Again, the way I watch movies, I'm very critical of it all from top to bottom. The inner workings and the outer workings are everything you see in screen and everything behind the screen is what we're here to talk about and to critique. And it's like I told Tex after I finished watching this movie, I have no notes. I
Yeah.
I literally have nothing bad to say about the work that Barker has put on the screen. And I am usually not at a loss for words when it comes to movie
Yes.
critiques, man.
Yes, because like take some of the biggest like recent horror phenoms that we've been introduced to recently, like Zach Krager, right? Like
Mhm.
please go check out our talk about the Resident Evil trailer, where for the first time Arturo and I are like, hey, maybe we'll like one of his movies, right? And it's he gets praised a lot for like the technical aspects, which he does do well, and which we
Yes.
have also said before. Like, yes, you made your movie well, but here it's not only made well, but the story's well done, and it's all working in tandem together
Yes.
to make this ultimate final product to where when you think about what happens in the movie, not really much, right? Like not really much in terms of like grandiose horror things. There's no
Correct.
big like ghost monster attack or anything like that or you would expect going in. It really is just a guy dealing with a possessed girl who's like and kind of holding back her wild tendencies for as long as he
Hmm.
can. And it's a lot in those performances, but those performances are held up by great direction and great
Yes.
writing, because like you said, Arturo, the silhouette stuff gives Navarrete a break, because he like she also has to contort her face for basically like 98% of the movie. Like she's got a smile, but then like I'm sure you've all seen like the trailers and stuff of like big prominent moments where she's like kind of breaking through, and that's basically a lot of the movie. There is a lot of that in there, and it never feels like it's slowing down. It never
Oh,
feels like it always feels like it's ramping up. It always feels like it's building. And when it finally explodes, Arturo, this I don't I'm so satisfied. We've said this before a million times. You can have your slow burn, but you gotta have the payoff, right? And
yep.
here, buddies, oh boy, full spoilers for Obsession. We have to talk about the ending. This is your last warning. We're gonna, just skip forward a couple minutes here, but oh boy, Arturo.
Yeah, dude. That is absolutely right, dude. The payoff was excellent. As
Yes.
Tex was saying, this movie just goes about its business, dude, and it does the right scripting at the right pace, and it's always and then what, and then what,
Yes.
and then what.
Yeah.
It's not why is she doing this or why is it? No, it's always and then and then and then and then. Like everything just compounds, and we get this great third act where the brutality is amped up, the
Yes.
pacing is amped up, the craziness is amped up, Nikki is amped up, and it just works so freaking perfectly that at the end of this movie, Tex, I just had a big smile on my face, like, wow, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. And the
Yeah.
ending of this movie was wow, freaking chef's kiss, dude. It's so good. I hate to spoil it, but I think we definitely need to talk about it because it's so good. And it happens so quickly too.
Yes.
Because this guy, man, this guy Bear, he just thinks that he can control this at some point, right? And
Yes.
when he realizes that he can't control this, he knows he's in over his head. And he
Yes.
knows that he's like, yo, I need to get out of this. I need this wish back. I need this canceled. And it never happens. And then what's great about it is that he himself, after being fully in love with Nikki, right? And getting what he wanted to a certain degree, right? He's like, oh my God, I don't want this anymore. I do
Yeah.
not want this
Yeah,
anymore.
that's where
And
yes, this is where it turns full incel scumbag of
yep,
like
yep,
he's a typical teenage boy of like as soon as another girl in his friend group starts to show interest in him, he's
yep.
like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to reciprocate that interest."
It's like,
And then
oh,
yeah.
Sarah likes me. Oh, hold on, Sarah. I'll be right there. All right. This one's
Yes.
crazy over here. I'm gonna go
y-
over there with Sarah.
Yes, which is something you don't think twice about when you're like 18, 19, and then boom, Sarah's killed in the most gruesome fashion that you can think of. And it is wild too, because like they're sitting in the car, and the whole time you're like, okay, they're gonna like traditional jump scare is like, okay, she's gonna be outside the car window looking in at them or something,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
and then she'll grab in through, and then she'll do what she's gonna do. But no, the jump scare is she does the kill immediately and starts bashing
Yes.
Sarah's head in against the
She
steering
rams
wheel.
her head through the freaking driver's window and
Yeah.
immediately grabs her head and starts bashing her head into what you think is the steering wheel until the
Yes.
camera pans out a little bit and you see a brick. You see Nikki holding a brick right on the steering wheel and just bashing and bashing and bashing. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, dude, incredible.
Yeah.
Simply amazing.
And then
And it looks
we
fantastic too.
we can avoid the main spoilers. I'm that's how good I think that climax is, to where I'm like, yeah, you like buddies at home, even knowing that death is coming. There's wild stuff after that, like in the actual climax of the movie and the ultimate result of the film. But what I will say is that it's something that I love, that I've shared my love in all these Morgue episodes before, where it's like, no, it's full on like a doom ending. Like no one, like you have you
Mhm.
have your main character who's kind of a scumbag, does scumbag stuff until he's not cool with it anymore. And then, because they do bring that up during the movie too, to kind of hammer that home. This isn't
Yes.
something that we kind of take from it ourselves through analysis, right? No,
No,
they do
it's
bring that
stated
up.
yes, it's stated explicitly by his friend Ian, who's like, "Hey, listen, like I didn't invite you to this party because it doesn't look good since, since you told us, she's going through some things and looks like you're taking advantage of her and her situation." So it's stated. So what we think as an audience and as moral human beings is stated to us in the movie. So we know everyone's working with their mentals all in check, right? And
Yes.
then what happens and continues happening is that this guy just is in complete denial about the whole
Yes.
thing. As Tex said earlier, he just kind of really wants this to happen. And there's one scene in particular that I really enjoyed, was when Sarah had texted him to meet up with him, to tell him a couple of things, right? And then he's sleeping in bed with Nikki, and he gets out of bed and Nikki wakes up, but the Nikki inside of the body, the real Nikki, wakes up and just says, "Kill me, kill
Yeah.
me, please." And that scene was so powerful because you see that she's trapped in this body. And then his response, his incel response to this was like, "Wait, so you really like don't love me," or something along those lines. I forget
Yeah, it
exactly what he said.
yeah,
Like,
it
like
really
yeah,
is like, yes.
he said, "Oh yeah," he said, "Is it really that bad being with me?"
Yeah,
you
like
know? Eh,
yeah, multiple times throughout the movie, there are like, he gets, it's horror movie logic of like,
yes.
he's getting the signals of like, back out of this, figure out a way out of this. He's given so many throughout the movie of like, he's like, oh, he's straight up told that she thought of him as a friend and all this stuff like throughout it, but he's in such denial. And when the movie ultimately ends, he gets punished for it. It all makes sense. Like that's the thing too. It's a doom ending, and it all makes sense, but it's also incredibly tragic because of what happens to Nikki at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because she's also like, ultimately, yes, she's the poster child for this movie. Yes, she's technically the monster in this horror movie, but she's also its greatest victim. And
She's
this
the
is what,
victim.
yeah. And so when you get to the end and it cuts to credits and it pulls like a pearl, Jace, like if you buddies at home, if you've seen Ty West Pearl, that movie kind of lingers on Mia Goth, and you kind of like see Pearl kind of going through a slate of emotions. This movie kind of has that kind of ending of like, you get, it
Yeah.
lingers with it, and you kind of linger with it as an audience, being like,
Yeah.
man. And it all happens so fast, and when it finally ends, you're like, man, that really happened. And
Yeah,
it's
dude.
just, buddies, oh, I gotta
And
we
funny enough,
gotta
though, Tex, too,
yeah.
like, I was watching an interview with Navarette where she stated that she went to watch Pearl and Mia Goth do her thing, and
Nice.
she
Yeah.
got tons of inspiration from Pearl. And we see that kind of translate over how she is a one-woman show, and she is the movie. But like Tex said, she is the monster, but she also is the victim. This is like what a
Yeah.
Frankenstein's monster kind of issue. It's like, I
Yeah.
didn't ask for this. You know what I mean? I didn't
Yes.
ask to be put in this situation, but I am going to deal with it the only way I know how. Right. And as the movie goes and you find out a little bit more about the willow stick and what that does, and the only way, right, to kind of cancel this wish is to, pull that Brooks, you know?
Yeah, to do the Shawshank Redemption, Brooks was here. And
Yeah. So
so
that
when you yeah.
that detail text adds that little layer to this whole thing. Like,
Yes.
wait a minute, where the only way is
Yeah.
to either, hey, you either have to off yourself or you have to
love
I'll
her
feel a person.
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or love her
it's
forever. Yeah, because even
yeah.
the guy, even the terrible customer service guy, right? He was like, "Hey, sounds like you got to go take care of
Yeah,
her," you know?
great bit of levity too. That's also the thing. There's also levity in this movie that you wouldn't expect. You know, like the the entity of this film is represented through terrible customer service, which is just a great move. And dude, like I think now we just gotta like we gotta set them home, buddies. Like so buddies, the way we do things here at the morgue, you know our scale, it's stay away from it, which is ultimately don't bother watching it. You're not missing anything. There's wait for it, which is oh, you can wait for it to watch it till it's more convenient for you. You won't miss much. And then there's pay for it, which is go check it out immediately. Please go see it. I will start this off, Arturo. I'll say pay for it. This is like the most pay for it
Yes.
we've ever. I think honestly, dude, in this year alone, this is the best movie I've seen this year. This is the
Yes.
best horror movie I'll see. I'm probably, you know, we've got other movies from other up and coming directors, but like this is a super high bar to climb now. This is like, and for Curry Barker, you know, this is a scary place to be in because you know you have such a good debut. You're going to come out with a. He's got a new original in the works, which is about like psychics and ghosts, and I can't wait to see what that's about. He's doing a Texas Chainsaw reboot that I can't wait to see what's about. But now I'm
Yep.
like, do it. Now I'm like, yo, and I think he even had an interview where he's like, I want to do Nightmare on Elm Street. And
Yep.
heading into this movie, I was like, okay, buddy, like you're, you know,
Simmer
all
down
right.
now, buddy. Simmer down now.
But I mean, I think you'll agree, Arturo. I'm like, yo, let's see what you got. Like, I'm ready, man.
Dude, 100%. This is honestly the easiest pay for it I've had to put in front of you buddies here. And without question, go buy a ticket for this thing. We purposely didn't get too far into the weeds here because we want you guys to be surprised a little bit. There are still details of this movie that we did not expose that you guys will
Yes.
definitely enjoy.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see it again so I can enjoy those same exact details. And buddies, again, this movie means so much to the world of horror. Lately, we have gotten a lot of horror that is very subpar. It looks nice, it's very polished, but the
Yes.
story isn't there. The pacing isn't there. The director does his best to, make it look good, like Krieger did with Weapons, but the story it doesn't click with me. There are moments like Lee Cronin's Mummy that I even enjoyed that movie, but it wasn't perfect at all. There was a lot of missteps in that movie. But we finally have one here, Tex, that I literally cannot find anything to nitpick, dude. That's how solid and well-rounded and just perfectly executed this movie was. And for a first-time featured director, I am so excited for him. I am excited that he was able to bring his creativity to a feature film and for it to be as successful and as well done and as quality as it was. It is absolutely amazing. I am so happy for Curry Barker and his crew. I
So
cannot wait to see what else he does, Tex.
yeah, great horror director name too. Like, you know, just because it's reminiscent of the Clive Barker. So you're like, yo, Curry
Yes.
Barker. It rolls off the tongue. This dude is made to be like a big time director. I can't wait to see what he's got next. You know, he's clearly got the chops. He's got the technical now like know how to. Like he's got the story in him. And Blumhouse, credit to Blumhouse, they needed a win. Absolutely. Like
Yes.
they've had nothing but stinkers lately, like Five Nights at
Mm,
Freddy's 2, Megan 2.0, which is like, yeah, we liked Megan 2.0 enough, but it's not what they wanted, right?
no.
They were looking for their next James Wan. You know, they were
Yes.
looking for their
Exactly.
next big director that they could hitch. I mean,
Remember, like
cynically
like
hitch their wagon to, you know?
yeah, but and funny enough, like if you remember when James Wan came on the scene, dude, Insidious, The Conjuring, before that
Yes.
Saw,
Yes.
so the dude was like in high demand, and I can't think of another director that has so much potential like Curry Barker does right now. He has the world in the palm of his hands, Tex, and like you mentioned earlier in the show, that could be a hindrance because the bar was set
Yeah,
so high
like,
with
dude,
obsession that I don't know. Like, yo, at this point, yo, retire. You know what I mean? If you're
I mean,
retired now,
yeah,
you're good, dude.
go out on top, right? Like, you go out on the win. Don't go out on your back. Go out with the title. Retire with the title. Let people fight over it, right? Like, this is straight up, like, if we gave out number scores here, this is a 10 out of 10. Like,
A
this is
10,
straight up like
an F and 10. Billy Bob style. Buddies at home, let us know in the comments below what you think of Obsession, what you think about Curry Barker and the shorts he has. Go to his channel, check out the shorts. Milk and Cereal, one that I highly recommend. I'm pretty sure you guys will enjoy it. It's very whimsical, very dark humor. And I cannot wait to see more of his creativity on the big screen. Thank you so much for listening. This is The Morgue, where we dissect the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. We are your hosts, Arturo Padilla, along with Mr. Nick Valdez. A big shout out goes to you guys out there for listening and for watching. We have all these episodes up on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcast streams. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, hit the thumbs up, hit that bell, drop some stars, drop some comments, reviews. We appreciate all that. Thank you so much for listening and for dropping all those comments. We have seen them all. We really appreciate the engagement lately. Thank you so much. I can't say that enough. You guys are awesome. A big shout out goes to Delvirus for all the artwork you've seen in front of you throughout the years. And last but not least, folks, it is a scary world out there, especially with this willow tree, right? With this willow stick, dude. But
yeah.
we are here to walk you through it.